Stop trying to sound smart in stakeholder meetings. Have you ever walked out of a stakeholder meeting thinking, I explained that really well, only to realise that nobody actually understood what you were asking them to do? There's no follow-up, there's no clarity. They ask for further meetings. They don't actually do what you'd ask them to do, or they haven't listened. Or perhaps you've sat in a meeting where someone clearly knew their subject inside out, but after 10 minutes of listening, you still weren't sure what their point was. And I think this happens all the time in procurement, and here's why I think it matters. Most procurement professionals spend years developing our technical expertise. I bet you have. We learn sourcing strategies, negotiation techniques, contracts, supplier management, risk, and rightly so, we've become really skilled in those areas, and we want people to know about that. Those things are incredibly important. They're what got us through the door. But at some point in your career, technical expertise stops being the thing that limits your impact. It's communication that does. And I've met procurement professionals who know absolutely everything about their strategy, about their category, about sourcing, about contract management, but they struggle to influence stakeholders. And I've met others who aren't necessarily the most technically experienced person in the room, yet people naturally listen to them. And the difference, I'm telling you, isn't intelligence, it's clarity. And I actually think in procurement we've got this backwards. We often walk into stakeholder meetings trying to prove how much we know. We think that if people can see how much analysis we've done, how many risks we've considered, or how much data we've gathered, that they'll somehow trust us more. Ironically, the opposite often happens. The more information we throw at people, the more bamboozled they become, the more difficult it becomes for them to make a clear decision. Because stakeholders don't need to be impressed by your knowledge. They need to understand your recommendation. And that reminded me of something. So imagine you're driving somewhere you've never been before and you've got Google Maps open. Now imagine Google Maps behaved like some procurement professionals do. Instead of saying, turn left in 200 meters, it said, there are 7 possible routes available. Route 1 is marginally shorter, but has an increased probability of congestion based on historical traffic problems. Route 2 avoids the motorway but increases your overall journey time by approximately 6 minutes. You'd switch it off. You don't need every possible route. You need clear guidance, simple, concise, actionable. And that's exactly what your stakeholders want from procurement. Not because they're not intelligent, you're not dumbing them down here, but because they have dozens of competing priorities. They have limited time. They're looking to you for guidance. They want to trust you. And our job is to reduce complexity, not to add to it. Over the years, I've started using a really simple framework before every important stakeholder meeting. I call it explain, recommend, pause. The first step is explain. By the way, your job isn't to explain everything, it's to explain enough. What's happening? Why does it matter? What's the context? And ask yourself, can you do that in 2 minutes? If you can't, there's a good chance you haven't simplified it enough yet. Think in terms of the elevator speech. If you had 2 minutes in an elevator with someone, could you get your point across? The second step is recommend, and I actually think this is where lots of procurement professionals struggle. We become so focused on being balanced and objective that we stop making recommendations altogether. We may present 3 options. We're always thinking, aren't we, in terms of, oh, we need to evaluate the options. And it's that power of 3 in terms of minimum 3 quotes. And it's how a lot of procurement professionals actually end up thinking and talking. We explain the pros and cons. Then we look around the room and ask, so what did you all think? Sometimes that's appropriate, but often your stakeholders are looking to you because you're the expert. And remember, this is about influence and leadership. They're looking for your guidance. They're not paying you to present every possible option. They're not using your time in that way. They want you to help them to make a good decision. Which brings me to another analogy. Imagine you go to the doctor because you've got a knee injury. The doctor spends 15 minutes explaining exactly how the knee works. They show you the diagrams. They talk about muscles, tendons and ligaments. They explain every possible treatment available. And then they finish by saying, anyway, those are your options. You'd probably leave thinking, okay, but what do you actually recommend? And that's exactly what stakeholders are thinking when procurement explains everything but never tells them what they believe the right decision is. You need to have confidence in yourself and be giving them clear guidance. I'm not saying you shouldn't always tell them about the options, but give them clear guidance. Recommendations create confidence, and that's what separates managers from leaders. And it's not because you're always right, but because you've done the thinking. You need to come prepared to that meeting, having done the evaluation yourself. And then comes the final step, and this one is hugely underrated. Pause. This might be the hardest one, because silence feels uncomfortable. When nobody speaks immediately, we often panic. So we keep talking, we justify our recommendation, we introduce more data to fill in the gaps. We fill every second of silence. But here's what I've learned. Silence isn't awkward. Silence is actually thinking time. And if you've made a clear recommendation, give people space to process it. Let them ask questions. Perhaps that's when you introduce the considerations that went behind your recommendation. And some of the most influential people I've worked with say less than everyone else in the room. Have you ever been in that meeting whereby everyone's talking and it goes on for maybe 30, 40 minutes, and there's that one, perhaps more senior stakeholder who listens, they evaluate, and then they come in with a killer impact at the end because they make one really clear suggestion which almost overrides a lot of what's been said before. So some of the most influential people, they say less than everyone else in the room, but every sentence that they do say moves the conversation forward, it drives impact. So the next time you're preparing for a stakeholder meeting, don't ask yourself, how can I demonstrate my experience? How can I show that I'm good at procurement? How can I demonstrate everything I know? Instead, ask yourself 3 questions. Can I explain this simply? Can I make a clear recommendation? And am I confident enough to pause? That last one, by the way, stumps most people. Try it. Because your job isn't to download everything you know or to bamboozle people or to prove your credibility through your technical experience. Your job is to help someone make a good decision. And in my experience, the procurement professionals who have the greatest influence, they're not always the smartest person in the room. They're the clearest communicators. If that was helpful, give the video a like and subscribe, share it with your colleagues, share it with your team, and I will see you in the next video.